I'm Chris McDonough, a retired homicide detective. I've interviewed thousands of people, from serial killers to ministers. Welcome to the interview room. Welcome to the interview room, everybody. It is so great to be here this Sunday evening with you. Boy, have we got a great show for you here tonight. As always, I always like to start out by thanking our mods. For without you, we can't do any of this. None at all. Miss Sophia, Mimi J, 2, Maui Girl, Sophie H, Stephanie Herb, and of course, Teresa Milligan. Good Irish name. We are so grateful to each of you ladies for taking your time with Karen, Dillan, and I in the interview room here. We are just so always excited to see you running our chat and keeping it classy. Can't do it without you. To our Patreon members, our YouTube members, we love you guys. Thank you so much for your always continual support. And then, of course, the only thing we ask here on the YouTube channel, the interview room, is that you sub and you share and like our videos with your friends. That's it. And then you're part of the family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, as you probably noticed, last week I took a little R&R. I had a medical issue, quite frankly, that put me into the hospital. So I spent about 5 days, almost 6 days in the hospital, and I received unbelievable, exceptional care from the nursing staff and the doctors in the hospital that I was admitted into. And tonight, I'm feeling fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, I think I'm an actual better version of myself than I was 2 weeks ago. So I just want to thank everybody out there. I read your comments, felt your prayers, and our family was blessed as a result of that. And I want to give a shout out tonight to the medical staff, the incredible nurses and doctors who took care of me. And I want to start with Michael, Melinda, Paige, Nadia, Marissa, Caroline, Aubrey, Diane, and Betty, Dr. Meehan, Dr. Greenberg, and of course, Dr. T. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I know I was the patient of the year. I had a little note that said that. So for that, you are the staff of the year. And I am so grateful that you took care of me and that God put you in my path to help. I was hoping to have a couple of them on tonight, but they're working, but maybe one will show up in a little bit. If so, I'm going to bring her on here. Now, while I was in the hospital, the interesting thing is, I got to catch up on my YouTube. And I was watching a couple of interviews out there. And I have to give a shout out to Justin in ICU over there at Justice for All, who had an opportunity to sit down with Jose Ramon. And talk to him at length, and it was a great job. If you haven't seen it, get over there and take a look at that. And of course, my buddy, Mr. Josh, I've asked him to come on tonight with me. He is, in my opinion, a really good friend and a voice of reason. He is that guy that he's able to pick up almost immediately in the event of any type of Wi-Fi glitch on the internet or the atmosphere as a whole. I'm sure Elon Musk is looking for him as we speak. I'm going to bring him up, my buddy and the leader of the lab rats over at the lab, Mr. Josh Diaz. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you for having me, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Shout out to all the lab rats that are out there. Appreciate you guys showing up to support me. And thank you for having me, Chris. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, buddy. You're a true professional and another voice of reason and idea. So what do you think tonight? We've got Jose has reached out, and we're going to bring him up here in a couple of minutes. What are you thinking?
Yeah, like you said earlier, Justin on Justice for All did a fantastic job, introducing us to Jose, and I watched the interviews with him, and any kind of perspective that we can get from anybody close to the situation is always a good thing. And who better than somebody who lived inside the house? And obviously there are other things that seemingly need to be addressed, and he wants to address, and we'll do all that tonight. But I very much look forward to speaking with him. I have never spoken with him before in any capacity whatsoever. So I was very happy that you asked me to come on. And once again, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, so without further ado, so let me just kind of set the playing field here tonight. In full transparency, Jose and I have been speaking for the last at least 2 or 3 days now, if not longer. I've done some vetting. I'm here to tell you that I have found no evidence of RSO or anything to that effect. I've reached out to a lot of people, and through our sources here at the Cold Case Foundation as well. We checked a lot of different data banks, a lot of different places, and it seems like initially there was another individual with a similar name, but different middle name. Whoops. I just lost him. He just stepped off for a second. It appeared that there was lots and lots of information floating around this other guy. But that said, what are your thoughts, Josh? I know you did.
That's just another thing about YouTube and public. Once things people catch wind of something, whether it's true or not, just everything gets really going in the wrong direction sometimes, and unfortunate things happen. So like you said, I did the same thing, the vetting, and came across the wrong middle name guy, and we're here to clear some of that up as well.
Yeah. So without further ado, we'll bring Jose up. Jose, ¿qué pasó, amigo?
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. Very stressed out.
Okay, so are you in a are you going to be in a place, and I know you're going to maybe come in and out here, so what we want to do is kind of mitigate that as much as possible so that we can have a pretty straight up conversation here about summer, about some of the information that's floating out there. And one of the things that we kind of want to just kind of do a baseline here, right? Just who's Jose, and from there we kind of want to dovetail it into what you remember, and so I just kind of want to start at the end of when you left 110 Ben Hill Road, and then we're going to reverse it for a second, and we're gonna go back to the beginning. Okay, but give me an idea, to the best of your recollection. And you know me, you and I have been going back and forth a couple of times, and am I a straight shooter with you so far?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I've held you accountable on some things, haven't I?
Correct.
Okay, so that said, we are all here tonight for one purpose, and that purpose is the truth. And so, kind of sugarcoating things, or if you don't remember, just say, I don't remember. Okay. But at the same time, if you do remember and you don't share it, okay, that's not real good either, right? Because ultimately what we're trying to do here is narrow down a scope of time, and then in relationship to that scope of time, some of the behavioral analysis aspect of summer. And I don't want to go into heavy duty, big time, essay stuff. We all know that exists. Am I right or wrong? With
Correct.
with Dawn. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, I'm still figuring that out now. Like, with everything coming out, it's more of a shocker to me right now. I mean, it's not a shock, but it's, because I didn't realize it was to that extent. I knew he was a bad guy. I just didn't know it was this horrible, the way it was coming out and everything. That's when I knew, like, it's bad, like real bad. Like, this guy's been doing this for years. It's not a couple of years. He's been basically doing it all his life. So,
okay. So also one other thing, if you want to just talk, let's see if that saves some bandwidth on your phone.
yeah, I just wanted everyone to see that it's really me, not someone faking my voice or something. I just wanted them to actually that it is me.
Right. I think you're in a bad spot. Real fast. Hang on for a minute. Josh, what do you think about maybe just having him just talk versus trying to keep his camera up for bandwidth?
Yeah, I think the camera may be slowing the audio down maybe a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely worth a shot. So if you want to just hit the stop cam button and just go audio only, that might help.
Let's see
if that works. Is it just like this, or just shut the camera off completely?
Actually, it's working fine now. So try not to move the camera if possible, because I think that's what's causing the audio screw up. There he goes.
He hit the leave button. There he goes. There you go.
Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Well, it may be
the same. It just jumps in and out a little bit. It's just the connection here is bad. So, I'm just trying to do what I have.
Okay, no problem.
The problems I'm going through right now, so I'm using what I have to the best of my abilities. So,
if need be, we can run it through a phone. If that helps any at all. I know that we wanted him on camera, but
Can he
Whatever
call you?
works.
Can he call you?
Yes, put it in the private chat.
Okay, I'm gonna put his number.
Yeah, put
in
his number
yours
in the
real
private
fast.
chat.
Yeah, hang on, folks, if you could. Jose, I'm gonna have Josh call you and then pipe you in through the his system here.
Okay, so do I exit out of this?
Yeah, because we don't want to keep having this go
No,
down.
you can drop off here, Jose, and then if we just put a banner up at the bottom saying, you know, that we're on with.
Okay. Oh, and Chris, I wanted to say it's Jose Roman, not Ramon.
Okay, Roman, got it. Thank you for correcting me.
Yes.
Okay, well, we get that set up, folks.
Like Roman candle.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to create a banner here.
This one. Okay, Jose, go ahead and drop off, and I will.
Okay.
I will call you, and we'll run you through phone line.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so while Josh is setting us up there, then
Jose, you there?
Yes, I am.
There we go.
all right.
Is it better?
It's much better. How does it sound, Chris?
Perfect. How everybody? How's it sounding in there? Put aloha in the chat real fast if we know that you guys can hear everything.
And can you hear us good, Jose?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's perfect, Josh. Good job.
Hey, no problem. Thank
Good
you.
job. Okay, much better. Much better. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your patience on that. So so let's go back. What I want to do is kind of stay focused in relationship to some of the things that you remember. So when did you leave 110 Ben Hill Road? What date was that, or what month?
It was October. From the receipt that I had checked, it said October 15th.
Okay, and what year?
2020, I believe.
What year?
2020.
Okay, so that's like 2 years ago, almost.
Yes.
Okay, are you sure about that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, yeah. I will have to look at my bank statement again, because I had pulled it up when Justin had asked for it, and I had sent it to him.
And I think, Chris,
So-
that report from that altercation was 2020, the end of 2020.
yeah, it was October in that ballpark.
Correct.
Okay, so from there, you left, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I know you got a ride to South Carolina. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. And that was with Grandma, Summer's grandmother, to,
Yes.
okay, Rock Hill, South Carolina, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So just in that truck ride, this is where I want to ask you, and this is why I want to start here. In that truck ride, tell me about Grandma.
No, pretty much we're just talking normal things and just discussing on what happened with Don, and her concerns about him coming back home.
And break that
And I
down.
was so she's always had problems with him. Always. They always were bumping heads. And she said he's a control freak. He manipulates her. He's always angry. every time they want certain foods or whatever to make in the house, he won't. He'd just rather spend dollar things and just drink all the time. And when I was looking at her, you know, I asked her, I was like, has he always been like this? And she said, yeah, he's never changed it. He said he's going to change, and he would change for like maybe a good week or two, but then automatically he's right back in it again. And I was like, wow. And I just, most of the time I was just begging her to try her best for him not to go back in that house, you know, to make sure that the order protection goes through and just keep him away, you know, as best as she can. And she was like, I will, I swear, I promise you, I would do my best. That was her exact words to me.
How long did it take to get from Tennessee to Rock Hill, do you think, if you remember?
Almost 4 hours. I drove it.
About
I'm
4
the one
hours?
who drove there. Yeah, I'm the one who drove her truck there, and she drove it back home.
Okay.
And is that because they wanted you to leave?
No, that was my complete decision. It was enough because my concern was if he entered back the home and I was there, one of us was not going to come out walking.
Okay, and we can get into that later if necessary. So one of the in that 4 hours though, what was Grandma's state of mind?
Nervous.
And what was yours?
Anger.
Okay.
Frustration. Depression. Anxiety. I just had a whole bunch of emotions going through.
At that time, you had a plate full of emotional dynamics. Would that be an accurate assessment, or you tell me?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
suicidal, full-blown alcoholic. Yeah, I had it real bad.
Okay, and a lot of that
was my
came.
reason.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was my reason for leaving New York when I did. It was just too much. And the doctors that I had spoken to, it was a panel of them. They all agreed. And they were like, you need to leave. This place is a trigger. You know, it triggers you. And as long as you stay, you're not going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So I took their advice and I did it.
And at that point in your life, you really weren't an altar boy, were you?
No, absolutely not.
Tell me a little bit about that history.
Well, growing up, I had it bad. I'm a SA survivor. When I was, and that went over a course of 2 years. And, you know, after that, I was wondering, you know, who I could tell of my family and things, but I felt scared and ashamed of it. So I really kept it to myself. And then hitting middle school and stuff, I started to lash out, started running away, hanging out with the wrong people. And I wound up starting to sell drugs. And I wound up dropping out of high school on my senior year. At that time, I started to sniff coke and I was smoking weed and drinking. And then I was also selling at the same time. And then I wound up getting arrested. And I wound up getting charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent of sale. And I wound up getting 3 separate charges for that. And they gave me 3 years running consecutively. And I wound up being sentenced to C-76 in Rikers Island.
That's kind of a
And while I
that's
was,
kind of a gladiator school, isn't it? Rikers.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
it is.
it's a rough place. Go ahead.
While I was there, I got sexually assaulted there by 6 men.
Mhm.
I was still not even an adult. I was like 18, 19, somewhere around there. And I was assaulted there. And then when I got released, I met my ex-wife. And things seemed to be a little better with her. I wound up marrying her. We had 3 children. Once my children were born, I just completely stopped because I was just afraid that if I kept doing what I was doing, somebody else was going to raise them. And somebody else was going to be called dad instead of me. So it kind of like straightened me out. It kept me walking that real fine line. And, with everything that happened with me in the past, it was more of, I don't want to return back to prison.
Right.
So I just try to keep a straight line as best as I could.
When you got out, how long did you stay clean?
So I've been clean since I came out.
Okay, so you were 18. Is that
Mhm.
right? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
No, I was, when I got released, I was almost 20
Okay,
when I had
so
gotten released.
what did you do? 3 years out of what was
Yes,
your sentence? What was your sentence? Can I ask?
it was 3 years, but it was 1 year charge, and the judge basically wasn't hearing anything, and he was like, "You're gonna do them consecutive. I'm not gonna run them at the same time."
Okay.
And so it was basically you do 1 year. It's like they release you, but they don't. Then they send you back. You do your other year. Then they release you, but they don't. And then you do your final year. And that's how it was.
Yeah, that's the time they were stacking sentences is what that's called. And so yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay. Yeah.
a, a pre, you're going to do a little more time. So when you get out, obviously, there came a point. Josh, you have any thoughts on what I've asked so far?
No, not so much. I just can you clarify one thing? I guess is that when you said how long did you stay clean, and you said you'd been clean
hmm
when you came out, you've been
Since I've
clean.
been out of prison. Yeah, since I've been out of prison, I've been clean since then. I've
So
never won.
no
I've
drinking,
never
no
been.
alcohol.
Uh, no, I literally just stopped all of that. All I did was really smoke cigarettes.
Okay, but then later on in life, you you had
I
a,
drank.
you had a struggle again. Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that. But no,
hmm
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, so at some point you come across, let's jump forward here for a minute. Now you're married, you got kids, all the other stuff, your life is, somewhat it'd be a roller coaster. Would that be a pretty good description of what's going on in your surroundings, your environment, and your life as a whole?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, and by the way, I want to give, we got to make sure that our members and our chat and our subs, from both channels, we just want to give you a trigger warning. If any of this, in any way, shape, or form is causing you anxiety or, any type of problem, just maybe this is a time for you to step back. We'll come back to it at a later point, but we just want to be sensitive and considerate to you as well. Because at some point, it would be an accurate assessment, right, Jose, that you get to a point where you have multiple relapses, and then somehow you end up a friend of the H's dad, up in New York, right? You had moved out of the city into the suburbs pretty much, hadn't you?
Yes, that was
Okay.
my mother's
And
decision when my mother was alive. She was like,
okay.
you had it rough, everything that happened, I don't want my grandbabies to be affected. And pretty much me and my ex-wife agreed. We went up there to go visit. We liked it, and we decided to just move out there.
Okay. So break that down for us. Who did you end up meeting up there, and how did that all kind of unpack?
I met Andrew probably about maybe 4 or 5 years after I had moved up there. I had met Andrew, and he seemed a pretty okay guy. You know, he didn't seem like out of the ordinary at the time. I didn't see him using drugs. He did drink once in a while when he goes camping or barbecues and things like that, but never to the extreme. And
Right.
he
What
seemed
do you
like a
mean?
pretty good
Everything?
guy. Well, because, the way he looks now, it looks like he's on something now or constantly drinking. He looks like he's under a lot of problems and depression right now.
Okay. So
Especially with his son.
yeah, I really don't want to go there with him. What I want to do is kind of figure out, how did you end up, kind of you guys mixing together, and somehow you ended up down at 110 Ben Hill um, Ben Hill Road. You ended up in Tennessee. Tell me about those
Mhm.
dynamics. And let's get a little nitty gritty there in terms of what was going on. Why all of a sudden there's this you know move to go down to Tennessee with how many people, by the way?
Okay, so it was Andrew, his wife, I believe, his two children. Then it was Jeff and his woman, and I believe her three children. And it was me as well. And then two other people came. Those were Jeff's friends that he worked with the husband, and the wife, he wound up befriending the wife as well. And they were the ones who actually rented the van and the truck to go down to Tennessee.
Okay, and what's the
And
goal?
that's how that was. They said they had a place down there. I was already going through problems, and
Right.
I just had begged Jeff basically, like, Jeff, please, if you're going down there, just take me with you. I'm waiting for my contract to go back to work because I was, working out of state at the time, and it was only seasonal. So
And what were you doing?
um, I was a seafood processor on a fishing boat in Alaska,
Okay, go
and
ahead.
I just had to wait for my paperwork to come back for to go back to work. And during the time it's COVID, so you also needed a special letter from them, stating that I was deemed an essential employee for me to be able to move freely and to travel to go back and forth to work. So, and plus my new contract, because the contracts were based on 4 to 5 months, out of the year. It depends on what season you chose to pick. So, that's all I was really waiting for. But because I was there, I was just so depressing, and I'm drinking and just crying. Yeah, and all I was thinking about was just offing myself, as you could say, just calling it quit.
So Jose,
And
when you were leaving there, you were the one that asked to go along. When they were leaving
correct,
for Tennessee, what was in
yeah,
their plan? You said they had a house down there.
yeah, that they already had a house waiting for them. Jack already had his transfer came in from the Walmart in Gloversville. They had his transfer completed to go to Kingsport to work down there. So he already had a job established there, so that's when it kicked in my gear. Well, if he's going to be working down there, I could find a little part-time job too until I leave, just to have a little extra money in my pocket. So I never think anything that something was going to go bad. I actually thought everything was already planned out and it was fine until we got down there. And all of a sudden, just everything started to fall apart.
And you were going through a divorce at the time. Is that why you wanted to leave?
Yes, absolutely. I had just been released from basically the mental health ward in Albany Medical in Albany, New York. And I was there for almost 16, 17 days. They had me there. And that panel was the one that suggested that you need to go and don't look back. You have to go because this place is a trigger. And that's all they kept saying, that it's a trigger for me.
And did they actually have a house set up?
As far as I knew, yes. I just didn't know where it was. I just basically went along for the ride. That's what I did. I literally sat in the back of that U-Haul truck. I don't know if it was a U-Haul or Penske, well, one of those trucks. But I was sitting in a couch, locked in the back for almost the majority of the ride.
So at some point you make the destination, and where did you guys pull into when you first got to Tennessee? Do you remember?
Yeah, we stopped at the storage where Jeff wanted to put some of the things in storage because they really did have a lot of stuff. So I didn't take it that the house was like real, real big, but he just wanted to sort some things out. So he was like, I'm just going to get the storage. We put everything here into the storage because the people who had rented the truck and the van, they had to return that back that day. And we knew it was a long ride for them to go back. So when we got there, we parked in front of the storage. We probably waited about an hour for it to open. Once it opened, he went in, got the storage. He drove the truck in, and we just unloaded it into a unit. And then they were supposed to leave. And within the time we're unloading, Jeff and Andrew are on their phones. And I guess that's when they found out that the house didn't come through and all this other stuff. They were upset. And then Jeff and Andrew were talking, well, let's find a hotel at least, so we could figure out what we're going to do because Jeff already had his transfer in and he didn't want to lose it. So me and Andrew, we walked a lot in that beaming sun. I don't know if my shoulders were burned because I had a tank top on. I never will forget that.
Okay, so just out of curiosity then, the house falls through, or at least it sounds like it's falling through. How does the Wells family come into this? At what point?
So, Andrew had called them like after we unloaded the truck that we started looking for the hotel room. It must have been our second or third hotel we went to check.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm going to call my son's mother. Maybe she might know a cheap enough hotel for all of us to get, at least 2-3 rooms for us.
Okay.
And he wound up calling her, and then she was like, you're here? And he's like, yes, we're here. And then he gave her the directions. Maybe a half hour later, we met her in front of like a Dollar General or something like that. And it was like right down the block, the storage. And that's when I first seen them. I didn't actually meet them until we were loading the truck for them to leave. And I said, I'm not going back. And I was like, please talk to your son's mother to see if she can help me find a place out here. You know, I could get a job, I'll pay rent, whatever like that. And that's when she had spoken to Candus.
Okay,
And
so
Candus
this
said,
is
yeah.
when you say seen them, who's them? This is Allie,
Candus,
and who's
Candus, Candus, her mother, Allie, um, Allie's youngest daughter, and Hunter and Summer.
so everybody meets you guys at this Dollar General store. Is that what you're saying?
Mm, yeah.
Okay, and then what happened?
And Andrew and them were speaking. I was just by the truck, just sitting down, resting. And we must have been there about a good 2 hours, 3 hours. And I'm just sitting there wondering, what are they going to do? You know, because I just came along for the ride. So I didn't put no insight in it. I just zipped up and I just sat there and waited. And that's when Jeff came back and he was like, we're going back. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, we just gotta go back. And I'm like, but you gave your keys to your apartment and all of this. Like, where y'all gonna go? And they're like, oh, we'll have somewhere to go when we get back. And I was like, well, I don't. Like, I literally left everything over there. I don't want to go back at all. And they were like, don't worry, we could try to figure something out for you. So while we were loading the truck, like halfway through it, just my mind was running and running, and I just started to tear up because my depression, anxiety started to kick in real bad, and I was just tearing up, and I began to shake a little, and that's when I said, Andrew, I'm not going back. And they were shocked, all of them, like, what? I said, I'm not going back. I said, please call your baby mother, ask her, just ask her to see what happens. And he wound up calling her, and Candus said yes. And then they wound up turning right back around to come pick me up to go with them.
Back to New York?
No, Candus and her mother and Allie came to pick me up to go to the Wells house. And Andrew and his family and Jeff and his family, they all returned back to New York. We parted ways right from the storage area. From after they loaded up the truck that I finished helping them, we just split ways. I went with Allie, Candus, and her mother, and everybody else went back to New York.
So I have a question. That corridor right there is, a pretty notorious corridor for mule and dope. Is this a dope run from New York to Tennessee?
No.
Could it be?
No, not that I know of. They knew better than to bring that around me. They knew better. Because I told them, I'm not going to jail for nobody. So I don't want, because a few of them smoked marijuana. In New York, that's illegal. It's not like, in other states where it's legal.
But you
like, well, we're going to take something to smoke. And even I was like, nah, you're not going to bring that. No.
Yeah, right.
We got the kids,
no, I mean,
everything, they could push you for trafficking. And I was like on them with that. And they were like, you know what, Jose, you're right. And they decided not to bring nothing. We just brought cigarettes, basically. And, snacks and waters for the kids. But no, there wasn't no drug run or nothing. That was really out there.
Okay, hang on for a minute. I mean, you made an interesting comment just a second ago. I mean, you said, I'm not going to jail for nobody. Okay, then you told them that. Okay, so that means at some point you must have observed something that did not fit.
Yeah, I was telling you, marijuana. The marijuana, because they wanted to bring, marijuana with them. And that's what it was. And I was like, no, like, like, no. We're about to cross multiple states. It's already, it's supposed to have it here, and now y'all want to go and drive all the way down there with your little bit of weed, a bowl pack or two or whatever the hell you're smoking, or a blunt or whatever, you know, and I'm like, I don't want to be part of that because of my record from the past. They'll throw me up and you know, they'll
Right.
lock me up, throw away the key. I was like, no, I'm not going to jail for anybody. Please think about this. And that's when they all decided, and they were like, you know what, Jose, you're right.
So it sounds
And
like it was going to be a drug run, though.
no, it wasn't not to bring drugs down there. It was for them to smoke on the way down.
Gotcha.
You know, it
Got it.
wasn't no like massive like delivery thing. No, it was their personal thing for them to smoke for themselves. You know, whenever we had a pit stop or something like that, I guess. And I was like, no, just don't bring it. You know, we don't know what's gonna happen. And that was my main concern.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's go then to what date was that approximately, if you remember? And I know it's been a
No.
while.
Yeah, that I do not know. I don't remember the exact date. And that's what I've been telling everyone. I really don't remember the exact date. I didn't even remember the exact date I left until I went into my bank statement, you know, and I'm
Okay,
like,
that's cool.
you just go in there, and I'm like, whoa, oh, okay, this is the day I left. So even it was a surprise to me, even.
Okay. Well, we can pin that down later on here. Let's keep moving though for the so you're there, they show up and you see Summer. Is that the first time you see Summer?
Yes, absolutely. She actually walked up to me and shook my hand and introduced herself.
Oh, really?
That is
And
first time, and you know, and I
walk
remember that because Candus had told Summer, "You just walk up to a stranger and say hi," and Summer's like, "He looks nice." That's exactly what she said, and they just all started laughing.
so at that point when you first meet her, Candace's
Mhm.
response is you just walk up, say hi. So, right, like any other 4-year-old or 5-year-old at that point, right? Is
No, at that time, I think she was like 3.
well,
I think she
that
was
can't be
around
true.
3 years,
That can't be
3 or
accurate.
4, I believe. Yeah, 3 or 4 years old, I believe, somewhere around there. Because this
Okay.
February she should have been 6. She should be
Okay.
6 because her birthday just passed. So last year she would have been
It'd be
5,
about
and the
4.
year I was, yeah, about 4. Yes,
So
because her
but you're at
birthday
the house.
just
Well,
passed February 4th.
yeah, I don't want this to get confusing real fast. So I want to uh, stay
Oh yes,
focused here.
absolutely.
Okay. I want to stay focused. So she's about 4. Okay.
Hmm.
And that's your first impression of her in relationship to her, being outgoing. She just walks right up to you, introduces herself or something to that effect.
Hmm.
Is that accurate? Is what
Yes,
you're saying?
yes.
Okay. From that point, what happened? Go ahead.
Hello, can you repeat that again? You cut off.
The question was from that point on. So what happened after that? After she introduced herself to you?
Uh, Not much really. I got to Andrew introduced me to Candace, to the grandmother, and to Allie. I wound up meeting Hunter for the first time there as well, and Allie's youngest daughter I met there, and we introduced ourselves, and Andrew was explaining to them, you know, what I was going through with my divorce, and you know, and he's really having it rough. He needs help. He doesn't want to go back. And Candace was like, he could stay in my place. I got an extra room. And she even offered for all of them to stay, but they all said no. They wanted to go back. And I was like, I'm just going to stay. I'm just going to rug it up, wait for my contract, and go. That's it. So we wound up getting into the truck, and we were just there they drove. I'm just looking at the scenery and stuff. And Hunter was next to me, and Summer was leaning up on Hunter, and he was on his phone. And then Allie's youngest daughter was in the back seat as well, and I was pinched up to the door. And then the three, Candus, her mother, and Allie were in the front of the truck, and that's where they sat. And they was just asking me, you know, what kind of work I did and things like that. Just, I guess, getting to know me.
You there, Chris? You might be having some technical problems.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or see me. I think
We got you now.
froze.
I think he's working through some. So what was your initial impression of them? And had you seen the house prior to them inviting you?
No, I didn't see the house prior. No. And my first impression was they were nice. That was my first impression.
And
you know, and Andrew kept telling them, you know, he's really going through a lot, you know, try to be easy with him, you know, and he was explaining to them about, you know, me trying to commit suicide and all of that. So they knew already, you know, before I entered the home, my personal problem already. And Andrew was like, you know, he just doesn't want to go back because he doesn't want to feel like that anymore. And they were like, it's understandable. And, you know, Allie was, that's why I left Gloversville. You know, it was too depressing over there. So I moved down here, you know, and that's what she wound up doing. And I was like, oh, okay.
And Chris, just to catch up to speed, if you didn't hear, I asked him his initial impression of all of them, and if he had seen the house before he was invited to stay there, and he said no, he has. And for the people just joining us, Jose Roman is with us here on the interview room.
See, this is why Josh is here. Boom, right there, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, the last question I asked was in relationship to out front meeting everybody, and did we get that cleared up as to who was there? And that was going to be my next question. How did we end up at 110 Ben Hill Road? So did you guys already cover that?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so what was your impression overall of the first meet and greet?
They were nice.
And what was their impression
They really
of you?
were. They felt sad for me because of what I was going through.
Okay.
You know, and they were telling me that, you know, I had my 3 children. I shouldn't be thinking like that, you know, because eventually my children might need me, you know, when they're older. You know, that's the way they were talking to me on the ride home. Because I was just sitting in the back and I just began to cry, you know, because I'm in the truck and I don't know none of them. It's the first time I ever met them, you know, so it kind of felt uncomfortable a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I started to cry, you know, and
whose
Hunter
truck?
had said something in Candus' mother's truck.
Okay.
And Hunter had turned to
is
me
that
and
the
he was
Silverado?
like, you okay? Yes.
Is
And Hunter had, he started the initial conversation. And he's like, Jose, you all right? You know? And that's when, while Candus was driving, she had turned back real quick and looked at me. And she had told her mother and Allie that I was crying in the back. And they're like, what's wrong? You know, and I was just talking, telling them what was going through my mind and stuff, you know? And they were like, it's hard. We know it, you know, but you got to try to stay focused and things like that. So they seemed real nice.
and around what time in the evening was this?
I don't even remember.
Okay, that's cool.
I honestly don't remember.
That's cool. So at some point, do you make it up to the house up there?
Yep.
And what was your
And I
what was your
remember
Mhm.
my first was the driveway.
Yeah,
That
that
was
driveway is
my,
something, isn't it?
oh my Lord. So and it was crazy because Candace tried to go up in the Silverado and the tail kept kicking sideways. And her mother yelled at her, "Didn't I tell you got to put it in 4-wheel drive?" And hearing that, I'm like, "What? You need 4-wheel drive to make it up this driveway?" Because I expected a paved driveway. I wasn't expecting a driveway like that, you know. So she wound up, reversing the truck. She put it in 4-wheel and romped it right through, like just put pedal to the metal just to get up to the hill. So as we were pulling up, I remember just seeing the grass taller than summer. Like it was, and the lawnmower sitting there. And they were saying, yeah, Hunter is supposed to be doing that. And he's like, yeah, but that's a lot, And he was right. It really was a lot. And he was like, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing nothing. So I could help if you want a little help. And he was like, yeah, that'll be great. I was like, yeah, why not? Because it'll keep my mind off of things. Just trying to keep my mind busy. So we wind up pulling up, and then I remember seeing Candus' mother's camper and the fridge. And then they had a couple of other things like tires and things like that, like in a little pit or something. And Candus was saying once in a while they'll light that up and burn trash there during the nighttime so nobody would tell, with the black smoke and things like that. And as we get to the house, all I could remember were these dogs just swarmed the truck and they just barking. And I'm just looking at them like, oh, and Hunter's laughing at me. He's like, oh, they're all punks, but he didn't say it like that. He said a bad word, but he was like, they all bark and no bite. And then Candace was like, that's really because they know you. They don't know Jose, And I was like, oh man, I might get bit by one of these dogs. And I wound up getting off of the truck. And when I got off, I had all 4 of them like in front of me showing teeth, growling. And Candace and her mother had to like yell at the dogs to leave me alone.
So you
Then
in
from
the
there,
Jose,
excuse
who's
me?
in the truck with you? And then yeah,
In the
who's
truck
in
with me, it was okay. So in the front seat, it was Candace, her mother, and Allie. And then in the back seat, it was Summer, Hunter's sister, and me.
Okay, where were the boys? If you knew
At home, matter of fact.
later on, if you found out later.
Yeah, they were at home.
Okay,
That's
so
where
when
they
you
were.
pulled when you pulled up, were the boys there?
Yes, they were in the house actually.
And okay, and where did you guys park?
She parked like right next to the house, but a little after the porch.
Okay, and when you got out, the dogs obviously did their thing.
Mm-hmm.
What happened next?
We got out. Hunter took Summer out. They all got out and they all started walking in the house. They asked me if I needed any help with my luggage. I was like, no. I just picked it. I was able to carry it on my own. And I took it, and they was like, don't be afraid of the dogs, because that was my main fear, that they were going to bite me. And they just kept saying, don't worry about the dogs. And then as we go up to that front door, they had those center block things in that yellow, look like a scaffold type deal there for like, for you to hold with your hand. And I saw that and I was like, that's dangerous, especially with kids. And she's like, yeah, my husband is doing work around the house. We're going to fix this eventually. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just climbing up the stairs, and I remember walking through that front room, and all you could see is just wreck everywhere, clothes all over the place, cups, empty water bottles, soda bottles, just on top of the tables, the TV stand, movies piled up. And then they had two queen-size mattresses laid out on the floor, and those had the pillows and blankets, plus a couple of the kids' clothes was there. They had
in what rooms?
like
In what
makeshift.
rooms were those? In what rooms were those mattresses, Jose?
The first room when you enter.
Okay.
Yes.
How many?
They were
How
there
many
on the
mattresses?
floor.
And
It
how
was
many
two
mattresses?
It was two
Okay. Okay.
right
And
next to each other.
all right. Were there bunk beds there at that time?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Then what happened? This is the first
Then
time you
they
go
were
in,
calling me to,
right?
yes. Then they were telling me to come into the kitchen.
Who was
And
telling
then,
you?
Allie, Candus, and the grandmother, they were like, come into the kitchen, come sit down. We're not going to bite, like they were laughing, just cracking jokes and stuff.
And
Because
where
I
the
was already
kids?
depressed, so
Right.
running
remember.
around. Summer went straight to the swing, and the boys was outside with her, and they were there just playing.
Okay.
And
Was it daytime then?
yeah, it still was daytime.
Okay.
That I
And
do
so
remember.
okay. Then what happened?
Then I went into the kitchen with them. They cleared out the table a little bit, and I had sat down. I had asked for water. They had given me water. And then I was like, oh, could I use your bathroom? And they was like, yeah. And then that's when Allie had told Hunter to show me where it was, to take me to the bathroom. So that's when I wound up getting up. You walk past that little bar thing that they have, and right there was these two big 6-straw dressers, one on top of the other with a sheet over it. And Hunter was like, the bathroom's right here, and he just pointed. So I go, and when I look, it's just the toilet, the shower, and the sink. No walls, no doors at all. And I was like, whoa. And they were like, oh, don't worry, nobody's going to go back there, And I was like, okay. So I just wound up using the bathroom. And I'm just standing there like, where's the wall at? There's no door, And then I noticed the water tank heater that they had up in the ceiling and the pipes coming from the ceiling and stuff. And I just started to observe, just to look around and stuff. And then I noticed their closet and all the clothes that was there. They had a BB rifle there laying up against the sink in the closet. I used the bathroom, turned right back around, and came right back to them. And I didn't even notice the stairs at this time yet, because I just walked right back. And then I was like, can I put my stuff away? Because the kitchen was clustered already. And I had a pretty big suitcase with me. And that's when Candus was like, yeah, come with me. And I was like, okay. And then I seen her walk to the bar. And I'm like, there's stairs there? And she's like, oh, yeah, my husband's 6 foot, he fits down here. Same thing, basically what she told you. If he can fit down here, so can you. But I'm wide. You know, I'm a hefty guy, and I'm like, oh my God. And then Hunter was like, my mom fits through there, you know, we all do. And I was like, okay. So that's when I had walked down there, down those steps. The jacket I had on, it had caught on one of the nails. It didn't rip it though, but it got caught on one of the nails. And I was like, that's dangerous. And I started to walk down the steps. Then I noticed the TV there, and I noticed a blue couch in front of the door, and then their mattress was to the back of that room, and it was on top of center block. And it was
Who's
just a cushion
who's
part.
their mattress? Who's their mattress?
Candus and her husband.
Okay, go ahead.
And then Candace was like, this was where you could, this will be your room, Jose. And then when I looked over to the right, the bunk beds were there.
Okay.
And I just walked in there, and they had the bunk beds there, and they also had another little mattress there too. But it looked more like a toddler's mattress, you know? But it didn't look like anyone slept on it. I think it was just something for them to sit on when they were playing and stuff like that. So I just went. I put my luggage up against the wall, and then I just went right back upstairs.
Were there
to go
toys
and
down
talk
there
with them.
when you first got in?
Oh yes, oh yes. After
Did
it
it-
was full of toys.
Did
It
it look
was.
like a
There was
toy
a lot
room?
of toys. Yeah, pretty much so. It looked like a typical kid's room, you know, like just a room for children.
Well, that room for me didn't look like a typical kid's room, but I mean, kind
But
of
you know,
qualify
with
that.
all the toys and with all the toys and stuff, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Okay. So you thought it was a playroom of some sort. When
Yeah.
did they describe anything about that room or the parents' room at that point? Is Candace down there with you, showing you around, basically giving you the tour?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
She is.
Okay.
She was telling me that bottom door never gets opened at all. The couch always stays there because it doesn't fully lock. You know, she had informed me of that. The windows didn't have no tints in it at all. You could see through. Like you could look outside and they could look inside as well.
Mhm. Yeah, there's
But I guess you could, yeah. I think because the grass was so tall, you couldn't notice it. But once you mowed that lawn, is pure sunlight used to come in through there.
right. So let's go back upstairs now. You're upstairs from the
Mhm.
dungeon, is what I call it.
Okay.
And this is like the first night, or you're just kind of getting to know everybody. At what point is Allie staying there at this time, by the way?
Yes, she was actually staying with her kids for the weekend.
Okay. And where are they
Mm-hmm.
sleeping? Do you know? Where did they end up sleeping?
Upstairs. Like they all bunched up upstairs.
Okay.
Like a
in that
big
one.
slumber party, you could say. Yeah, it was just a big slumber party.
Okay.
Just
And
all of them bunched up there.
is Allie's mom there?
Yeah, but she slept in her camper.
Oh, I mean, that's
Once in a
Candace's
while,
mom. Is that Allie's mom or Candace's mom?
No, Candace's mom.
Okay. How about
She
Allie's mom?
slept she wasn't there.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't meet Allie's mother and grandmother and great grandmother until I was there for a little while, probably maybe like a week or two before I actually met them.
So they had been kicking it there before you even got there.
Yeah,
And
I
staying.
believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So did
'Cause
everybody kind of
they-
have a
yeah.
sleeping, quarters staked out? Grandma.
Yeah, you might as well say yes.
Okay.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay. And just like a big, crash house, Or other
Excuse me?
Is
I
this
didn't
like
get-
a big crash house? Are there other people coming and going? You know, I mean, not that first night,
No.
but the more you stayed there, were there
No,
other cars coming up there? Were there, other things going on?
no, nope, not at all.
Was
Not while I
Candace
was
getting
there.
hammered at night? Was Candace getting drunk at night?
Yeah, after 5 o'clock.
So every night after 5, or just a few nights after 5? You tell me.
And probably like a few nights, but as her and Dawn started to get into the fights over the phone, it started to become every single night. When I
So was
got there,
Dawn
it
calling
wasn't
every
every
night?
single night.
Was Dawn calling every
Well,
night?
she was calling him, not the other way around. He didn't call, she called him.
Okay. Okay. And what was your impression of that? Why did she have to do that?
Yeah, most of the time that she called him was for money to buy food for the house. And then they'll wind up arguing because he's pushing for her to move up to Utah, and she'll drop the F-bombs left and right, and no, I'm not going,
Yeah. Yeah. So
Those are
he's
basically their fights there.
okay. And what about the kids during this time? Who's during all the flowing of the alcohol and I'm assuming there's got to be some dope involved in this too, right? Somewhere. I
No,
mean,
no,
is there any
no,
marijuana?
no,
And anybody smoking
nope,
marijuana up there?
nope, no,
Okay.
just alcohol and cigarettes.
Okay. Alcohol and cigarettes. And
Yes,
so go ahead.
that was all they were doing.
Okay. And you say they, who's
But
they?
we will all be watching them. It wouldn't be like none of us are watching them, but the kids had their own routines at the time. They watch their own shows. They will play on their phone, on the video games, or they'll go outside and play. And when they were hungry, they would just come in, we're hungry. And then Candace would be like, well, grab a pizza and put it in there. You know what to do. And they would just do it themselves.
Jose, was there any, so dope aside, were there any opioids? I mean, were they taking pills and drinking? I mean, I take your word for what you're saying, but I would find it hard to believe that they weren't doing anything other than just alcohol and cigarettes.
Oh, no. In front of me, that's all they was. I didn't see them taking no pills or anything.
Gotcha.
The only one who took pills was Candace's mother, but she had a lot of pills, like a whole bunch of different medications. So I'm thinking cholesterol, blood pressure, all these other, because I have family that take multiple pills. So she would come out with like a little bag, and it's a whole bunch of different pills. And she would always say, I have to take this damn stuff every day, and I don't really like it. It makes me feel weird. And that was her main complaint. But she didn't drink. Candace's mother was the only one that did not drink. She didn't. She would not drink at all. She would always fight if anyone drank.
And Chris, let me just ask you really fast too. Was your experience similar to Jose's when it came to the dogs when you first arrived on that property?
Yeah, they were everywhere. They came out of the woods.
Barking and somewhat aggressive?
They came right at the truck. They came right at me right when I got out, and that's why Karen stayed in the truck.
Right.
So
he hit that one on the head.
Yeah, that piece of the puzzle. So that was a great question too, Josh. You got more on that? Go ahead.
Well, we talk about how they say stranger abduction.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that if a stranger walked up on that hill, he would have been greeted the same way both of you were greeted.
Oh, absolutely. Believe that. That's 100% correct. They
How-
would have definitely went up to whoever it was. The only way they wouldn't come up to you like that is if they knew who you were.
Right. And how long did it take the dogs to get used to you?
A few days,
Okay. So,
2-3 days.
yeah. Strangers aren't walking
Yeah,
up on
I
that
even
hill.
made Yeah, I remember telling Candus, you need a zoo license. I mean, there were cats, dogs, they were everywhere. They were everywhere in there. Okay,
And
so
even if they
you
knew
make
you,
it
would
through.
they bark? Oh, sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead. Say it again.
I was Jose. Even if they knew you and you came up, would they bark when like cars would come home and stuff?
No. If they knew who you were, they wouldn't bark, but they would approach the car.
Okay.
Would approach you, but they wouldn't like growl or bark. No.
So while you were there, Jose, just kind of shifting back here, uh, the breakdown of where everybody's drinking. At what point would the tolerance level kick in and everybody pass out?
I would be the first one to pass out. So
You were?
after that, yeah, I'd be the first one to knock out. I was, going through a lot.
Yeah.
So I just went downstairs and just slept. But it's like 8:30, 9 at night. I'm in bed already, ready to conk out. And they would still be up in the kitchen, laughing, playing music. Kids running around, having fun,
Where
Not
where are
too
the
much
children?
chaos.
Where are the children at this point? Just running
Upstairs
around.
in the front room playing, watching TV.
What kind of video games did they play?
One of them was like a racing game on the phone. Another one was a puzzle game or something like that. But I heard there was a couple of more, but I never like really was into phone games or anything like that. So I really didn't pay it mind. But the
Okay.
boys mainly played their racing game on the phone.
What kind of games did the kids play that you?
Excuse me? You asked what kind of games they played?
Yeah, meaning outside games, kids games. On the
Oh,
property.
hide and go seek. They played on the swing, tag. They played with their soccer ball. The boys would throw their footballs around sometimes, and they really wanted to ride their bikes. That was when I knew they had dirt bikes, when I found that out. But Candus wouldn't let them drive it. She kept saying, you have to wait for your dad to come back. And that was their main focus, was their bikes. But those were the games they played typically.
So they wanted to get on those dirt bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you saw them play hide and seek, what would they do? Where would they go?
In the house, outside, in Candus' mother camper, in the fridge. I remember the first time I saw someone in that fridge, it freaked me out.
Tell me about
Because,
that.
I thought the fridge locked. Okay, so I was sitting outside towards Candus' mother camper. And there was like this little crate thing there, and I was just sitting there smoking a cigarette. And I remember the boys running outside, and they're like, Jose, did you see Summer? And I'm like, no. Why? Oh, we playing hide and seek. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I didn't see her. Maybe she's in the house. And they're like, no, we checked in the house. So I got up and I said, so she's out here somewhere hiding? And they're like, yeah, we got to find her. And I was like, isn't it like dangerous? Like, would she leave real far because this is the first time they're playing this, and I'm finding out. And they're like, no, usually she's around here, hiding behind a tree or something. And I was like, oh, okay. So as the boys start walking to the shed to check over towards that way, all I did was turn my head and I could see Summer peeking out of the door of the fridge. And I was like, what is she doing? And I wind up walking over to it and she had closed it. And I was afraid that it
What
locked.
side? Left or right?
Open
What's Jose? What side? Left or
the
right?
fridge.
Yeah.
The fridge? It was,
Yes.
well, where I was sitting at, I'm facing the house. It would have been to my left.
Okay, but what side is she peeking out? When you say to your left, I need
Oh,
some
she's peeking.
reference.
Okay, so, she's peeking out of the door. She opened the door. She's peeking it because when you open the fridge door, it opens up through the bottom. So she just cracked it and stuck her head out and looked over.
Okay, do you remember if it was the left or the right door?
I don't remember which door it was.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Then what happened?
She wound up peeking out, and I wound up walking over there, and I'm like, Summer? And the boys was like, oh, you found her. Oh, she's in there again? And that's what they said. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm looking at that, and I was like, that doesn't lock. And they're like, no, it's broken. Like, we always use that. And I was like, oh, okay. So she wound up running out.
Is that the boys saying
them,
this?
All of them. Yeah, the boys, too, were saying that. So they used it, too. Them boys used to fit in there. I don't know how they did it, but they fit in there.
Okay. And what about Candus? What is her reaction during all of this? Or where is she? What's going on?
Inside of the house, sitting on the kitchen table.
Okay, sitting at the kitchen table. And is she aware that that Summer's been hiding into that fridge before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because she used to always tell him, go play hide and go seek, go outside, go play.
Okay.
And she knew that she already had been in that fridge a few times.
Okay.
And she was like, I used to argue with her, but, the fridge opens. Ain't nothing bad going to happen to her in there. So I just gave up arguing with her about it.
So you argued with her about her hiding in that fridge? Is that what you're saying?
No. That Candus said she gave up arguing with Summer about hiding in the fridge.
Oh, so the mom and daughter had a conversation in the past. Did you hear that? Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh, did you believe it?
Conversation?
Yeah.
About
Summer having a conversation with Candus about hiding in the fridge?
Oh, I did. The way she was saying it, I believe that she did talk to Summer about the fridge.
Okay.
But then Candus was like, she just gave up. And she was like, she's not going to get hurt in there. I already checked the fridge. Everything's fine. It opens, closes. It doesn't lock. Okay. I really didn't think nothing of it.
Okay.
When the kids were playing hide and go seek and things like that, just around the house, how rough were they with each other?
Not real rough, but just like normal kids. Accidents happen, maybe one time Wyatt was running real quick and he was running around to hook around the corner of the house and he ran into Waylon. Waylon wound up falling and scraping his knee. That's like the worst I've seen.
So, okay, so they play outside. Where else did the children used to hide that you're aware of?
In Candus' mother camper in the bathroom.
Say it again.
In Candus' mother's camper inside of the bathroom.
Okay. Is that one of the cabinets?
Yeah. No, it's a bathroom.
Okay. She just hid it.
Yeah.
She hid in the bathroom.
Yeah, because that was Candus' mother's like storage. She didn't use the bathroom there. She used the bathroom in the house. So she converted her bathroom from the camper into like a storage unit. And she had a lot of stuff stored in there. And she used to argue with Summer about that because she was afraid that, Summer knocked something down and, it comes toppling on top of her.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like the kids, are just kids and they're out running around, playing on the
Yeah.
property. Tell me about the swing. Is that her favorite place to go, or what's your opinion?
Oh, yeah. Summer, that's her go-to. She loved that swing a lot. Constantly on the swing. Always. Always. And then no shoes and no shirt. I could tell you that right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
No shoes and no shirt, sitting on that swing, just swinging away. And if she wanted to go higher, she would ask one of us to do it. And most of the time it was me doing it, just pushing her. And she would just laugh and thank you and, go higher. And then she would ask me to twist her, on that. And she's like, keep going, keep going. And then she would tell me, let go. And then, it would swing around and spin. And she would be holding on, screaming, laughing. And then, if I felt like she was going to fall, I would just go and grab her, like pick her up and then place her on the ground. And she's like, whoa, and she's moving around. And she said, again, Jose, again. She was a bundle of joy.
What was Hunter's interaction with the children?
He was the same way with all of them. He played hide and go seek with them too. He played tag with them. He kicked the soccer ball with the boys. With Summer, it was the swing too with her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the reaction of H's mom to him doing that? Or was it, was it just a casual situation where kids are just playing, or what was your takeaway on that?
Yeah, that's what I take it as, a casual thing. Just kids playing, just having fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No other way than that. Most of the time, that's all they were doing was having fun. Always laughing and yelling, loud kids. That's what they were.
Jose, did you find it odd that they offered you a place to stay, a strange man in a house full of kids, when there was when Dawn is in Utah? Did you find that odd at all?
A little bit, yeah, I did in a way. But when Andrew had spoke to them, I guess that's what alleviated their worries about me. Because Andrew's the one who actually spoke to Allie for me before I actually spoke to them. And that's when Andrew had introduced me to each of them.
So it was Andrew that vouched for you, and and then when you initially got there, you see the state of the house. Was there anything in you telling you to get out of there?
Excuse me?
Was there anything inside you telling you to get out of there when you saw the condition of the house, or were you just desperate for a place to stay?
Oh, no, when I seen the house, it was like, I need to get out of here, but I didn't know where to go.
Right.
Yeah, I was stuck in the woods, basically.
Sure.
I didn't know nothing. Not even my cell phone worked there at all. There was no signal. Candus was the only one who had a signal, and it was lucky if it was one bar.
What was the carrier?
I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I never even asked her that. I never thought of asking her what was the carrier at all.
Did did
But I
grandma
know I
have
had
a phone?
no,
Did grandma?
he did not.
Huh? No,
No,
not at that time.
no,
Okay. Did
nope, not at
anybody
that
else? Did
time.
Allie have a phone?
Yes, Ali had a phone. Hunter had a phone.
Okay.
They both had phones, and their phones didn't work at all.
Did yours?
There was
Did you have
no
one?
signal. No. Yeah, I had my cell phone, and it was dead too to the world. It was like no connection. The only way we got connection was when we went into Kingsport. That was when our cell phone services kicked in, and it would go crazy because
And
they didn't go into Kingsport every single day.
sure.
You know,
And who was? Go ahead.
it was like every other day or maybe every 2 days. So when we would get to the spot where I guess it was by the church, right after you pass that church, all our cell, all our cell phones are ding 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 ding, just going crazy. We're like, whoa,
And,
and it's
who's your
messages, it's
carrier? Who was
videos.
your carrier back then?
Mine was straight talk through Walmart.
Oh, okay. So you kind of had by the minutes, kick it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I had the unlimited plan for every month, and it was on auto pay, so they took the money out automatically. I didn't have to keep going to buy a card and putting minutes. They just took it off my card to pay for it.
Okay.
Was there Wi-Fi? Was there internet in the house?
No, absolutely not. Not at that time that I was there.
Okay.
So at some point, um, are you during all of this time, and how long are you there at the house in terms of what you remember? What's your timeline?
I don't really know. Now that I'm thinking about it, felt a lot like I was there for months. That's exactly what it felt like to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Were you,
ballpark it. I mean, I heard you say near 6 months once.
And that's why I said it felt like months. No sense of time at all. It's country life. It truly is a country life over there. It's not a city life,
Sure.
So it was all new to me. All of it. The area was new to me. The way, even people telling me good morning, I found weird. I'm from New York. Everybody's uptight and with an attitude. I come here to Tennessee. It's good morning and bless you and all these things. And I'm looking at them like they're weird.
well, that's the great folks of Tennessee, and this is why people love summer so much, right? They really do
Mm-hmm.
care. They care about people, and they care about children. And I know that you got stuck in the middle of this thing based on all the information that's available to everybody, and it's a culture shock to understand the people of the Southeast. I mean, they're really super great people, and then there are other people that we just they don't get the understanding that is necessary because they've not lived type of life that they live down there. Poor to act on all of those, which you have and you do, and I think that's great. And the fact that you've come forward now after all this time, you know, what when was the first time you were interviewed by the FBI? You there? Did we lose him?
Well, it says he's still on the
Oh,
line.
I hear you now. Okay. Yeah, you were breaking up.
No
Like,
worries.
wait a minute. Why are they breaking up?
No worries, amigo. When was the first time you were interviewed by the FBI?
They, from what I remember, they said she had been missing about 7, 8 days, I believe. from what I can remember.
Okay,
And
and
they had
that's
went to my son's house looking for me.
and eventually they found you, and you had a conversation with them, correct?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay, and you told them everything that you recalled.
Yep.
Yep.
But it was, as I said, their main focus was on Dawn and Candus. That if I felt they would ever do any harm to Summer, that was the impression that I got from their questioning.
And what did you tell them?
I told them not Candus, and I don't think that Dawn, would have at that time, because even though me and him bumped heads and all that other stuff, but as far as to like physically abuse her, no. I told them no, I don't think anything like that, like kill her, like or hurt her in that way, no.
Well, when you first heard that she went missing, and how long after she went missing did you hear about it? Was it when TBI contacted you or the FBI?
Yeah, when the FBI contacted me was when I knew.
And that was
And the
that was
first
8 days.
Yeah, 7, 8 days, I believe she was missing.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was your
I
reaction?
first, I'm gonna tell you, the first thing I told the FBI was, "Did she get out of the house again?" That was the first line that came out of my mouth. And they're like, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Did she get out of the house again?" And they're like, "Wait a minute. She used to get out the house?" I said, "Yeah, all the time." I said, "Why do you think the blue couch is in front of the door in the basement?" I told them that. And they're like, "A blue couch?" I said, "Yeah, in the basement. It would be in front of that door because there was no lock there. She could walk in and out." But she knew how to open the lock in the front door too, because there wasn't no deadbolt there. It was just the regular knob that you just turned the little switch and that was it. But she knew how to open that.
How did the deadbolt get on that door? Do you know?
I think they probably put it there. And that's way after I was gone.
At some
Because when I was there, that was not there. Just like the wall that they have that's covering that bathroom right now, that was not there when I was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those bunk beds in that front room, that was not there when I was there. Those bunk beds are virtually brand new.
Jose, if Summer did in fact tend to wander outside like you said that she did, what do you think? And I know this is speculation, but why would Dawn and Candus say that she never did that? Because they say that
they knew they would get in trouble. That's why.
Okay.
And they knew it's not just me who told them something. Allie said something. Even Candus' mother said something about her getting out of the house. We all told them. It wasn't just me. It was a concern for all of us. Like, how the hell she's getting out of the house? Like, I thought you locked the door. Well, Summer knows how to unlock the door. Well, what you telling us this? Like, you need to watch her more often, more closely, But it wasn't just me who told her. Her mother told her and Allie as well. And when she would be outside, that we finally realized she was outside, if Hunter was there, he'd be the first one to run out the door for her. And he would just run right out the door and he would go after her. And then she'll run and laughing, like it's funny. And Hunter's like, "It's not funny. It's not funny. Things bad could happen to you. We love you. What are you doing? Don't do this." And she was just joyous. She's just a curious kid. That's all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people understand that about her. There's no
Yes,
question about it. But
very. Yeah.
yeah, and but what else drives Dawn? I mean, you had some observations of some, there was some weird that you mentioned, and what about the abuse situation from anybody, if anything? Even you raised some red flags, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I walked into that house, I mean, that house just screamed all kinds of dysfunction. I mean, alcohol, drugs, SA. I mean, that, just check each box and keep moving down the hallway. And then when you get to the dungeon and you see what's on the TV,
I
I
was
mean,
shocked. But I could tell you that wasn't Candus watching that.
well,
That
I don't know who
TV
was
is
watching
Dawn.
it. I don't know.
No,
I
but
don't
that's
know.
Dawn all over. That's the type of things he used to watch.
Okay, fine.
That's him.
And so the question then is, when Don comes back from Utah and you're there, that turns into, a problem pretty quickly. I
Yeah.
mean, to the point where he goes to
Yeah.
jail, right?
Mhm.
Felon in possession of a handgun.
Yep.
You're still there,
That's
but
correct.
then shortly thereafter, you bail. You leave.
Yeah, I just left. Yeah.
But in between that time, while he was home, you saw some actions that you had described. I heard you say it, just
Yes.
was kind of pretty
Yeah.
problematic. And
Just
I don't want to go into
yes.
it, but Mhm.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, but
And
then
the more and more I spoke
go ahead.
out, the more and more he didn't like it. That was the problem because
Okay.
no one spoke out, and this is why I felt that they were afraid of him.
Who's
And
they?
I just, Candus and her mother.
Okay. Okay. But now in retrospect, looking back, when you first tell the FBI after 7 days, there's no way. Did you include the SA allegations or the observations?
No,
How come?
I really wasn't even thinking about that. Honestly,
Okay.
that wasn't even a thought in my mind because I didn't think he was doing any SA2 summer when he was in the bath with her. I just
Mhm.
found it disgusting to take a bath with your daughter.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
That was my my trigger there. Like, no, I don't think so. But as far
And
as
you
the SA part, no.
confronted him, right?
Yes,
You confront
yes. I took Summer out of that shower. Yes, I did. I stood there with her pink princess towel because that was her favorite towel, and she always used it. And I remember that towel because that towel would get washed like every other day because Summer will always be dirty because she was outside playing so much,
Mhm. Mhm.
and she will always be full of dirt.
I'm just curious, Jose, though, in full transparency, the fact that you have witnessed potentially something that even caused you as a father internally to say, you know what, that DLR, right, does not look right.
Hmm.
And you intervene, and that intervention causes a major disruption between you and a father and a daughter and children and all this other stuff. And then this child goes missing, down the road. Now, mind you, you're gone. Okay.
Hmm.
I get that piece, brother. Okay. But at the same time, when the cops and the authorities come to you and you mention, okay, did she go out? They had to have asked about, was there any type of observations or problems in that home that you could at least, give us a little more intel into? And now maybe this was just your mindset at the time, and I don't want to disrespect you. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm
No,
just saying,
that's
I'm just
no,
saying,
you're right.
this just doesn't, it, I don't know if it fits. Does that make sense in terms of it is what it is, but if that's what you did and that's the truth, okay, no problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they
But
didn't ask me nothing like that. That I
okay,
could
they didn't
tell
go
you,
down that route.
they didn't. No, they did not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It was
Okay.
more like they felt like they did bodily harm to her.
Got it. Okay. So
That's what I got from their questioning to me about them.
yep, absolutely. Fair enough. Fair enough. And I can see that unfolding just the way it did, just what you're saying. Been there many times, and it has fallen into that point. So, in retrospect, now looking back, what's your opinion?
I should have did something. I really do. I should have did something. Yeah, that's what I honestly believe, because I feel that time that I pulled her out the shower, that should have been me. I should have just picked up the phone and called the cops right then and there. But my main worry was that I did that and the cops really didn't do much. They wouldn't have looked at it as he's doing anything bad, because we were all in there, while they were in the shower. I didn't even know until I heard her voice. And I was like, "Where's Summer?" "Oh, she's in the bath with her dad." I'm like, "What? What do you mean with her dad?" And Candus was like, "Yeah, he always takes a bath with her." I'm like, and I just jumped, not jumped, but like I just got off the table right away. And I was like, where's her towel? And I looked and I found it right on the dryer, and I just grabbed it. And I'm like, "Summer," and she's like, "Yes." And she's like, "Yes, okay." I said, "Come out here, baby," just like that. And she's like, "Okay." And she came out, and I just wrapped her up in the towel. And that's when Dawn came out of the shower, still half full of soap, screaming at me, And I'm like, I really don't, and I was swearing back at her. But I basically told I didn't care, because I don't think like that. And then I looked at Candus. I said, "Matter of fact, you go and take a bath with Summer." I said, "This is not going to happen anymore." But looking at that, that's when I should have just picked up the phone and called. But wasn't sure if anything would have happened or not.
Yeah, I mean, you called it the way you saw it. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand. Well, go ahead, Josh. What are your
Well,
thoughts?
you would have been out. First of all, you'd have been out of a. Obviously, you're probably thinking as well, "I'm not going to have a place to stay," and
no, because no, at that time I already was working, so I had money saved up a little bit. So even if I would have got kicked out or I didn't have nowhere to go, I had money for me to at least stay a night or two in a hotel and try to figure out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But that's not where my mindset was. I really didn't. It was a red flag, just not to that extent. It was just kind of like a weird thing to me.
Well, I mean, it was weird
You know?
enough for you to have a confrontation about it.
Oh yeah. Well, he confronted me. I didn't confront him. All I did was talk to the baby, pulled her out, and told Candus to take a bath with the baby. That was it.
Right.
I was trying to avoid him at all costs.
I got you.
I was trying to avoid confrontation. I don't like to fight at all. I'd rather de-escalate a situation than make it worse.
So I do have a question as to now, when you showed up there, were you, because you said that you were a full-blown alcoholic at the time. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was pretty much drinking all the time.
You drank basically the whole time you were there with them?
No, not the whole time. No. Once I started to work, I just eased up off the liquor and just went to work. And then maybe 2-3 days would go by, then I'll drink a little something, and that was it. But like me working and then helping them in there, it controlled me. It put me their situation put me in line, you know? Even though I was going through whatever I was going through, their situation just rattled me enough that I got to stop drinking all the time because I don't know what could happen in here, you know?
Were you there for
So
any
that's
birthday
why.
parties, Jose? Did the kids have birthday parties?
No, no birthday parties.
Was anybody's birthday? Did it happen when you were there?
No.
Where were you working
nobody
at the
celebrated
time?
a birthday when you were there. So did the kids actually, any of them have their birthday happen without a birthday party?
I think so. I don't know. That
Okay.
I can't be 100% sure.
No worries.
Yeah, the way this rolls right now. I mean, this is obviously my head is going 1,000 miles an hour with a lot of different direction here. And the one thing I want people to stop, hopefully, is constantly just beating you, up in terms of the negative comments and stuff. It is what it is right now. But let's be patient and flush through all of this information. I mean, this, they had you as some other guy, out in the atmosphere, as an RSO, and that's not, you're not that guy. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, you're 100% not that guy. And now there may be other idiosyncrasies in relationship to your life. We don't know that. I don't know that. Okay. But the more we kind of hang around and kind of, work through this, okay, then, at this point, let's kind of figure out where you are. I mean, you have come forward. You did talk to the authorities early on.
Mm-hmm.
You were struggling with some issues. You're still struggling. I mean, when you called me the other night and we talked for a little while, I could hear it in your voice. And so
But
at some
you could let your viewers know what I'm going through right now if they want to hear, because of all of what they said, everything that was put out there, for your viewers to listen. I lost my job because of this, because of all the slandering that they've done of accusing me of me being this RSO. I lost my employment. I no longer have a home. I'm homeless now. But does anybody care? No. He's just shredding my life apart. Like, if I'm the one who kidnapped Summer, like if I'm the one who were abusing all these people, and I'm just telling everyone what my experience was there. And it's sad that out of everyone, I'm the only one who can describe Summer, and I don't like calling her that. I always called her Half Pint. That was my nickname for her. So it's weird to call her Summer to me. But it's like I'm the only one who knows Half Pint. Like, I'm a total stranger. In the verge, I already done had tried to commit suicide on 4 different occasions, and even though it was somewhat of a hell, I was blessed to be around those children, because that's why I connected with them, because I was already down and out. If I'm willing to take my life 4 times, that meant that my children didn't mean nothing to me,
Yeah.
and being around them woke me up to that, to say, what was I thinking,
And Jose, you're to be, that part of your life now. Okay. And number one, let's make sure that you're still in a safe situation, right? I mean, you're not in that frame of mind right now where you're thinking about hurting yourself, right? Tell me.
No, I'm really depressed, down and out,
Okay.
hurting, regretful, but I'm not at that point that, oh, I don't want to live anymore. No, I'm not at that
Right.
part. But to see
Okay, and
everything
you and
I
I have
worked
talked
so
about
hard
that the
for.
last couple of days. You and I have talked about that, right? Over the
Absolutely.
last couple of days. Okay, and you know
Yes.
that you've got my phone number. You can call me 24/7. I'd rather have you call me than, you get into a bad spot right there. Okay, so let's just keep that right there. And then second, you know, a lot of times things are going to come back, information wise. And, sometimes we forget. I mean, witnesses forget all the time. And then, they get to a place where they go, oh, that's what I remember. You know where we have the biggest evidence of that? Um, Elizabeth Smart's sister, her little sister. She was saying, I know who this person is. I know who this person is. And for months and months and months, she could not recall. And then one day, all of a sudden, it just happened. And she goes, I know who it was. It was the handyman. And all of that finally came to the surface. Okay. Now, so some of this, obviously the authorities, you've been talking to them. They've interviewed you multiple times. I mean,
Yes.
Folks have found you, and there's always going to be the question marks, and I have a lot more questions too. I'd be lying to tell you differently, right? Okay.
Hmm.
But I think tonight, that's kind of a full plate that we just put up here, and a lot of this obviously was a retread in relationship to what you had spoken to Justin with and ICU over there, and they're good
Yes.
people, and they but some of the other stuff, let's kind of make sure that folks are just, let's hold on, until we know what the exact truth is in relationship to the totality of the conversation here. Josh, what say you, brother?
Yeah, Jose, and appreciate you, coming on here and talking to us. Nobody has made you do any of this. I told you before the show when you first appeared on YouTube. I did a show the very next day and said, unfortunately, he has no idea what he just did.
Right.
And like I said, I knew that it was going to get bad for you. I didn't know how bad it would get for you, because the fact of the matter is, Jose, if you said that you have two left feet and you really do have two left feet and you can prove it, people will go, well, why does he have two left feet? He's just weird. Why would somebody make something like that up? It doesn't, what can be figured out through, consistent statements such as like the dogs and, uh, Hunter said that that the kids would go wander off all the time. You say the same thing. There's a lot of things, but the fact of the matter is the debauchery that was going on in that household up until the point that Summer left, and even after, it is going to be heavily scrutinized. And, people, especially in this kind of forum, they don't have respect. A lot of people do. I don't want to say that, but there is a corner of the internet that doesn't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No matter.
They want to make you the suspect. You weren't there when Summer went missing. You have talked more about Summer, or Half Pint, as you call her, than either of her parents. I don't have. I know that you were going through a really rough time, and for that, I am very sorry, and I wish I could have warned you at some point. I've warned others about YouTube, but I'm really glad that you reached out to Chris and to try to, I just
Clarify as much as I can.
yeah, and I feel and I do have sympathy for your situation, but and I am happy that you did come talk to us, though.
Yeah. Okay. So
Thank you.
one, and So continue the quest. This little girl, who you came to know and been in the environment there with her. Question for you. Maybe we can do another one. Would you come back if we asked you, invited you back, Jose, to go a little bit deeper?
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
would.
Okay. I'm going to with that, then I'm going to let you, take a deep breath. I mean, you've been up here for 2 hours with us, and then Josh and I are going to kind of, step up here for a second, just have a couple of comments together. And I want to thank you this evening for coming up here, and, discussing this with us. And, hopefully we can clarify some things and, get down to what the reality of what the truth is. And if
Yeah,
you're a piece of that truth, then, by all means, your message needs to be delivered as you have been appropriately, and then just let the other stuff, um, take its course right now. Josh, thought?
And just so you know, Jose, the internet is full of conspiracy theories when it comes to these kind of cases. People will throw anybody under the bus at any time with no regard for anybody else's life. So I do apologize that you have been thrown into this. Nobody asked, you didn't ask for this to happen. So I
no, I didn't. But like you said, it is what it is. But all I could try to do is think what I've learned from my therapist and try to apply it for this situation because it is a heavy toll on someone's mental state, and people don't think about that at all because mental health is a serious, serious thing. People don't, you know, they don't think of it that way. They don't think of it as a sickness, but mental health is it's very, very real, very, very real,
Yeah.
and it affects
Yes, it is.
average people just like me.
It is
You
very
know,
real, and
yeah, and
today,
especially when you attach
people
someone that,
gaslight.
yes, yes, you're
I
right.
mean, we just we have just lost a little bit in terms of um, our ability to treat each other with a little more kindness and respect. I mean, we all get it, okay, and I mean, no matter what you say or how you say it, it gets misconstrued or to that end. What you have to do is you have to keep pressing forward and see where it goes, okay, and at this point, right now we're just, phase one with Jose here in conversation, and ultimately the truth will set you free, as the scripture says. Okay, and you'll be in a place where you'll look back one day, and let's see what happens ultimately. And if you have more information, if it comes to you, my counsel and recommendation to you is, get hold of the authorities first. Give them a call. Don't put it up on YouTube. Don't call me. Call me after you call them, and let them have everything that you have if there is additional information. And until then, we'll be in touch with you, my friend. In between that, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, so you can enjoy the rest of your evening. Sound like a plan?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, all right, buddy.
Thank you.
Take care, and we'll talk in a little bit.
Okay.
See you in a bit. Bye. Josh?
Well, I, for one, I
I
find
think
the
he's
belief.
still on the line here. Is he still on
No,
the line?
no, he's gone.
Okay, hang on. All right, Potts.
Hey there.
You there? Did I lose you? Did I lose your
Nope.
brother?
Nope. I'm here.
Okay. Let's focus a little bit on our. I've got like 38 things starred here,
Sure.
and so I'm going to go through here. And if you see some of your folks, thank you guys so much. Josh and I are just like totally grateful for everything. And I'm going to just go ahead and start putting up here some of your stickers, chats, everything. I don't know if I got them all. To be honest with you, I was so focused on him. But as we go through here, Bobby Cat, thank you. Robin, awesome. You're amazing. Robin Slate, Mindy, thank you. Thank you. Crime of Mama, every TR show get excited. Rock concert. You're kind. Thank you. It's because I had Josh here tonight. It's
Yeah.
because I had, and by the way, if you have not hit his subscription button over at the lab, become a lab rat. Would you please get over there, hammer that subscription button? Absolutely. This guy is not only a good friend, but you can tell he is a good person.
Thank you, Chris.
And Mama Bear, happy you're feeling better. Thank you. I agree 100%. I am feeling better. I really felt dynamic duo. There you go. There you go. Karen, thank you so much. Jay Zellers, thank you so much. So kind. This is Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. Plead the fifth. Love it. Always. Love it.
Lab rat.
Chris, I heard a friend of CW's sister at the photo summer league against the milk jugs was not even taking the time she went missing. It's an old photo. What have you heard? I have not heard that. Josh, what do you got?
I mean, I've heard that, but you know, once again, conjecture and speculation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have heard that.
Karen Baz, love it. J.A., good to see you again. Whoop, whoop. As they say, raise the house. Yvonne, thank you. I don't have all those, the sounds that you have. I just have all the music. How many people were in the back of the moving truck? And how much furniture was in the back of the truck? Well, it sounded like they moved a whole house. Is that the impression you got initially, Josh?
Well, that was the thing I was going to ask you was, where did that couch go?
Yeah.
When did that lock get put on? I mean, by all indications, every single person that knows anything about Don and Candus says that their children got out of the house, Summer especially. They say they swear that never happened. I find that extremely hard to believe. I believe him. I do. I believe, I believe him. I believe what he's saying. I know that he wishes that he never came. I mean, it was 9 months and just little bits here and there. And then people step into this, it's rough.
Yeah. And he mentioned something about the relationship with Allie. He was super drunk, even over on Justin's channel. Yeah. And, I stayed away from that with him tonight. But then thank you, Mallory. Thank you so much. I am feeling amazing. I really am. Last week, last Monday, I did have a medical issue and it did put me in the hospital for about just under 6 days. So, God has been good to me here, get me back up and running. And I've been working a lot of different capers. Even my sweetheart's been like, you need to slow down. The doctor told you slow down. Even you told me to slow down. I'm like, I got like 3 or 4 calls even today, and they're like, hey, we, blah blah blah, and I got to slow down, guys. Hang on here for a second, right? Thank you,
Yes, you
Cindy.
do.
Lola, but we don't slow down for for Summer, for these kids and others. I gotta circle back with Brandy for little Michael, little little Michael Vaughn. We need to keep that young man, his name out front. I mean, the family's doing a lot of amazing things behind the scenes with the cops, and things are moving in the right direction. Josh, you've been intimately, close to that situation, which is very cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
Bama fan, go Bama, roll Tide. Trisha girl, go ahead. You keep talking while I'm just putting these up, bud, if you
Well,
want.
We're
Thank you,
all just
Joey.
very happy that you're out and doing well. And that's important to us. So, if you have to slow down some, but a lot of that isn't in you as well. So it's something you got to learn.
I don't have that valve.
You got to learn it though.
I know. My doctor told me the same thing. He said, dude,
Karen.
I know. Well, okay, here is some good news though. She's got me on an all green diet now
That
for a
sounds
little
horrible.
bit. I'm following orders. My
I
sweetheart said you need to do A, B, C, and D,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I'm going to do: A, B, C, and D.
Right.
And yeah,
Well, I don't think you have a choice either. You're not the boss.
No, I don't have a choice.
You're not the boss, man.
I am not the boss. I learned that a long time ago. Thank you
And
so
God bless
much.
your family. Karen and D-Mans, they do awesome stuff, and they're awesome people. And if that means shoving plants in your mouth for dinner, then that's what you get.
Dude, it is really good.
Yeah.
The food, Karen has been making some amazing food. And I'm like, this is like, what is this? And she's like, don't ask. You're eating it. And I'm,
Yeah.
I'm going.
A little
Okay.
turkey bacon here and there.
You're going to get me in trouble. Even Coop the other day. And I have to, when I was laying in the hospital, I'm watching YouTube. I'm watching you. I'm watching everything going on. I'm watching his, Jose's interview, and and I'm thinking to myself, nobody has any idea I'm laying in a hospital watching, and everybody out there, Justin is like, hey, I'm trying to get hold of you, and I'm like, I can't say anything, right? I mean, here I am, but he did a
man.
great job.
People were, where's Chris? And I'm like, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's all going
we
down.
appreciate I could, I just think I really feel blessed. I really feel super blessed. I mean, it's just one of those things. So that said, what say you there, Mr. Josh? You want to do a roll call real fast and then sign off? What are you thinking, buddy? You get the last word, by the way, tonight. So hang on for a minute. Let's do a quick roll call. So you guys ready? All right, just punch it in. Tell us where you are. And then
Welcome to The Price is Right.
Do your voices, by the way.
Come on down. We got North Carolina checking in, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona. Hello, Phoenix.
UK,
Frankfurt.
Utah.
They're everywhere. Colorado. We
Niagara
got Bristol,
Falls.
Connecticut.
Love Niagara Falls.
Upstate New York. Hey, there you go. Syracuse. I saw Kansas there. Congratulations to Kansas for advancing to the Final Four. We have Seattle, Alabama, Michigan, Germany, New Zealand. Yeah, they're everywhere. Chris, Minnesota, Memphis, Bay Area.
Yeah, and if you guys have not hit that subscribe button over there for Josh, get over to the lab and nail it. Nail it. And
try not to disappoint. We got
the other
Maryland in the house as well. Ireland, like that.
Ireland. I'm from Galway, by the way. My ancestors are all from Galway. Galway.
Alaska, Kentucky, they're everywhere. East Tennessee,
They're
Arkansas.
all coming.
That's right.
Yeah, the chat is crazy. The chat's crazy. Okay, so we had a chance to talk to Jose. Very lightly, very slow here for a little bit, and then what's your theory? Where are you at still in your head?
Man, I'm really the accident cover up theory. Just like Jose said, they know that they'd get in trouble for negligence. I mean, these are people who don't like the cops. They don't like answering questions. They won't get the benefit of the doubt from law enforcement. CPS was all over them. I believe in the accident cover up theory and not a stranger abduction, just based on what both of you said about running up on that hill with all those dogs, and it would have been a disaster. Now, that's not saying that somebody that they know couldn't have, but the lock on the door after Summer goes missing is odd to me. The couch is odd to me. The fact that they say that she never wandered off is odd to me. The pieces of the puzzle are all there, and we just got to kind of wait for law enforcement to connect the dots, and I believe they will.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I still think I've not left the house from that property. I think it was interesting that I said this early on a long time ago, because I interviewed one of the folks. I can't mention any names, but I interviewed the folks that were up on top of the property the day of. And that's when I learned that hide and seek may have been in play. And to hear it now, go ahead. What were you going to say, brother?
My mouth dropped.
Yeah.
Because you have talked about the hide and go seek theory for some time, and it seemed like the number one game that they were playing was hide and seek. Unsupervised children get put in situations that they shouldn't, because they're children. But lab rat right there. Hello.
Kill 100 at a time.
I could. I hit one with a blow dart one time.
You don't. Oh my gosh.
It was a good shot too.
I'm trying to find Muscles comment about.
I saw that mascara and muscles. I saw her.
And Muscle, I'm looking for it. Okay, Muscles and mascara. I'm looking for your comment. Please forgive me.
Love pink.
Yeah,
lab rat.
It was early on. Barb is awesome. On my way. You guys we are so grateful for all of you. We're so appreciative of. Oh, here it is. Let's see here. No excuses for internet service. Funding made available service to the area for safe. For a month, no tax and fee, no throttling. It's so fast would cost over $300 with other providers available. 70.0 priorities for kids. There you go. So if you're in that area, it sounds like go to 17.0 priorities for kids. And it sounds like the internet service is available if you have children, and it's super fast. So there's no excuses. The way I'm reading that. What are you getting out of that?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they, Candus would say that she spent any extra money that she had on the kids. I find that hard to believe. It's just, she also said that she is incapable of lying. I heard her say that just recently, and say whatever you want about Jose. At least his story holds some water. Candus and Dawn and Candus's story does not. And they're not acting like parents that are missing. Jose seemed more concerned for Summer than Don and Candus just from that interview. But I knew that YouTube was going to shred him. I just knew it. It was just, you know, every person that has been highlighted in this case like that has the church, like, you know, they were saying that the people think that the church had something to do with it. People think that, you know, the media manager, maybe, you know, who knows, but it's just a nasty place. And so for that, I do have sympathy for him, his life being torn apart. This is not the first time I've seen that happen. And for people in the chat or whoever watched this, if you don't think that there are people out there that thrive on doing this, you're mistaken, man, because I know that people just sit in the wings waiting. Jose's here. Let's see what we can find out. It's people, and I feel bad for him in that aspect. You know, I wish he would have done more, and he does too while he was there. But, you know, alcohol, no place to stay. You know, it was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah, it's a right, an old crash house. I mean, it's where everybody goes when they're burning. You know, not literally, but internally, and you know, the drugs, alcohol, they're hiding, they're running, they're chasing, you know, away from themselves because they're hiding pain. There's a tremendous amount of pain going on there. Go ahead.
And it's one thing to put like in a chat or in a comment, I don't believe him. That's one thing. Fine, sure, whatever. Stalking the man's life and getting him fired is a whole nother thing. And shame on the people that do that.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're all trying to figure that out, that piece of the puzzle out for sure. And he did have a lot of chutzpah to come up and talk to, you know, the folks that he's talked to so far. And maybe there's more. Maybe there's, you know, I've always learned, you know, no man got to the top of the mountain by falling there.
Right.
So these types of cases, like everything else, are always a journey walking up. I saw one question about the dogs. You know, when we got up on that property, when Karen and I got up on that property, man, oh man, those dogs came out of everywhere. I mean, absolutely everywhere.
And which to me debunks a lot of theories, including
exactly
the stranger abduction. I mean, they are so adamant with absolutely no shred of evidence that she was abducted. Stranger abduction.
Yeah.
It's
the first time. Let's answer this one. What do you want to take that, Josh? What did you hear?
Was this the first time that no, a neighbor of theirs also brought it up sometime probably 6 months ago. I don't know if we want to say their name or anything, but yeah, it was brought up. It's been brought up before. Also, Candus doesn't trust anybody. And she also just said the other night that she has suspicions of Dawn. Honestly, you know, it is a circus a sideshow unto itself. And I'm sure Don will love to hear that when he gets word through. How do they talk in jail? Through the toilets? They yell through the yeah. So Don will have that toilet paper roll, and the other guy will be like, "What'd you hear, Donnie? Oh, Candus thinks that you might have something to do with it. Oh, get off my property."
And they're doing some they're throwing what they call fish, right? So they get a note, right? You tie a note on it, you throw it to your celly, you know, a couple of doors down,
right,
and go from there. But you know, he's going to have a field. Okay, let's make a prediction right now. Okay? If he gets out and this keeps going the way that it's going, okay, guys and gals, you know, put the seatbelts on, you know, because we are going four-wheeling okay, at your local monster truck club, because it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of catching up to do. Now, here's the sad part. Candus, if you're listening tonight, if there's anything else, you need to get into the authorities while you have time, because, he's going to come out and he's going to go ballistic. Okay. Just on some of the YouTube channels that he's, going to be catching up on. It's not going to be this channel, but he is absolutely going to go 5150. And
yeah, it's going to be,
yeah, full throttle. And
the
now's the
guy's
time.
screw loose anyway. I've seen he's screamed at me for things that I had nothing to do with. He's not going to be happy about this. Yikes. I tell you. Yeah, you're so right about that.
And thank you, Mama. And when there's a part of me, obviously, that I'm worried for her. I'm worried for her because, she's gonna catch the wrath. And that is not good. That is not good.
Well, if you believe what Jose says, it sounds as though she was scared of him, and Grandis as well, that they would lose their place to stay. And it seems as though I said the other day, remember when Candus wasn't on YouTube and it was all Dawn? Well, those days are long gone. And now she's throwing Dawn under their bus that they have in the front yard there that still runs, apparently. And, I mean, it's so disrespectful to this young girl, Summer Wells.
That right there. Yes. I can report that there were a couple of conversations last week to Donnie. They made some visits, or at least communicated. Right. So exactly. So do that again. What is that?
It's Don saying right.
Right. Exactly. I love it. Man, that is funny.
I do this thing on my show. I'll give you guys a little preview here. I like to ask Don a very simple question. Like, what's 2 + 2? I say, Don, what's 2 + 2? And he'd give me the wrong answer. And I'd say, Don, you don't even know what 2 + 2 is? And then this is what he'd say to me.
I've done my best. It's hard. That's real tough. That's because God understands our human brain.
God understands Chris.
I know.
He understands our human brain.
I know. He does.
Or if you ask him a question that he doesn't like or want to answer, he always says something like this.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
See, this is what you guys get over there at the lab. This is why I love Josh. He's hysterical. And become a rat over there for sure. Support his channel as well.
Thank you.
We're just really super grateful that you've had me cracking up behind the scenes on a lot, buddy.
Oh yeah, we have a good time, and obviously there's nothing funny about Summer being missing, but the people that are in her life can be just absolute clownish, and it's so disrespectful to that little girl, and she deserves better than what she's getting. So I have no problem making fun of idiot. Things. He's just not a very nice guy.
And the next time we talk to Jose here, I want to get a little bit more into some of the behavior patterns that he witnessed from her from a victimology perspective in relationship to the swing, directionality of how she would leave the house, and we would go up to that.
We would ask Don, but this is what we'd get from him.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
It's just an absolute.
I heard that a lot.
Heard that one a lot.
Maybe Candus, if Candus wants to talk, I'd love to have her come up. Spend a little time, talking to her again. Am I frozen or am I moving?
You're good.
Yet?
You're back.
I think I'm good.
You're back.
Okay, I'm Mac Daddy. Exactly.
Right.
Okay. All right, buddy. You, as always, my tradition here, the guest always gets the last word before we go to Hawaii. And before you do that, though, I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for being here with Josh, myself, and Jose this evening. We are always grateful. Get over to the lab, hit that subscribe button, become a member, support these channels, our channel. Here we just ask you to, pound that subscribe button. We're almost at 100. Maybe we can get there in the next month or so. And
I think you're going to be there in the next week or so, my friend.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? If it's to be, it will fall into place. That's for sure. But guys like you, my friend, are part of the reason why we're able to offer great quality information on both channels, on both of us. And just,
we combined our uniqueness, and we learn a lot from each other, man. We do.
We do.
And
absolutely.
It's just very good. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed before, and all the members, and I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you.
Okay, dude, you've got the last word, so hit it.
All right. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out and just supporting me and the interview room. Thank you for everybody that was kind in the chat, to Jose and people that just truly care about Summer. And it was really nice to be able to hear more about her. She's just a precious little girl that's captured the hearts and minds of all of us. So thank you guys so much. And thank you to the interview room for having me. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
Hard working every day, I'm stressed out 24/7, babe. No timeouts, wish we could fly away. You and I go to our favorite place. Oh yeah, make special memories together. I'll be your company now and forever. I say we fly away, you and me, go to our favorite place. Feeling the sun on my face in Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. With you, Hawaii. I need a summer breeze, some fresh air to put my mind at ease. No cares. You wanna come with me? Me and you go to our favorite tree. Are you ready now? We jump on a plane now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. Don't hesitate now. We're taking away. Yeah, we're taking away. We'll never